Many people claim they are intelligent or at least cognizant or aware, but what would be the ultimate measurement, criterion, or evaluation for intelligence besides the well-known intelligence quotient or IQ tests? IQ tests have been around for more than 100 years, since 1905, coinciding with Einstein's annus mirabilis, or miraculous year. And there is still debate and controversy regarding what intelligence is or its definition. Could it be possible to use real-life situations to evaluate people's actual intelligence? And more importantly, not based on past experience, memory, or the recalling of historical facts, figures, or concepts, but actually on future events. Humans have past and future intelligences. Past intelligence is less risky because the only consequence of not knowing something in the past, well, it's facing embarrassment. However, future intelligence is riskier and hence more valuable because there are bigger consequences to not knowing what to do next. For example, when facing a problem or a difficult situation. Intelligence is measured by tests, yes, that try to detect potential, that is, future conditions, as opposed to achievement tests, which test what a student has already learned, such as in past conditions. So in this sense, it can be said that intelligence is ultimately raw, pure, untapped, but detected potential to do extraordinary things and actions, or to come up with uncommon, sometimes even unorthodox, but innovative theoretical methods to solve dilemmas or problems. Intelligence as potential must also be demonstrated through various and diverse theoretical and practical examples, which will ultimately make others consider someone smart. For example, with a group of friends, classmates, or colleagues. This is because no matter how smart you think you are, you must make an exhibition of it in relation to others. Others must judge, and it must be in the most objective, representative, and standardized way possible, which means that everyone is involved. Like, if you didn't think of that possible solution to a problem, then you don't have the same potential as that other person who did and is now considered intelligent, as opposed to you and the rest of the people in the room. In the final analysis, this is how IQ tests measure intelligence. This is also why artificial intelligence, or AI, is intelligent, not because of what it does, but because of what it can do. That is, its potential, which is fundamentally the definition of intelligence. Humans are thinking creatures, whatever that means, and thanks to this, we have the capacity to visualize, imagine, and fantasize visions of the future, of raw potential, and of creation. In other words, we are able to theorize about what may, can, and must happen in the future, in our personal lives as well as in our professional lives. But how many of your theories, predictions, and life decisions are constantly right, and how many of them are wrong? How often does what you think will happen, and how often does it not? How much of that potential is in effect illustrious in the eyes of others? Could this be a way to measure or evaluate human intelligence applied to the common everyday man and woman? How many of our theories are actually applied logic, in other words? Kant makes a distinction between pure logic or general logic and applied logic. Applied means that you put that logic and or theory to practice. That is, you test it out in the real world and experiment with the processes and outcomes. But how can you test out your logic or your theory? Well, I have devised a simple experiment. All it takes is keeping track of what you assume will happen and contrast that versus what actually happens. You are basically contrasting idealism versus reality. The measure of your intelligence is how often the two are the same and how often they are not. That is, how often there is a discrepancy. This is what this video offers you today. Test out how intelligent you are across time. How? There is a simple word: following up. Everybody has to make decisions every day, every week, every month, and year. Some are big, some are small, some are medium size. It really doesn't matter which you choose. You are simply going to evaluate your decisions after you make them by judging the outcomes of your actions. You are going to ask yourself, after all is said and done, if this was really the best choice or decision after all. Here is the activity. First, think of a problem, situation, dilemma, or decision you have to make in the present or soon, and write it down. Second, think of and write down all of the possible outcomes or alternatives to that problem. Compare the alternatives or possible solutions you have for this situation. Third, finally, you must choose one alternative or solution to carry out. That is, you must make a decision, the best one, a choice to carry out. Make a prediction of what you think will happen and write this down. Make sure that the situation has a short-term and measurable result so you are able to see if you were right or not. This activity or experiment will help you check if the choices and decisions you make are intelligent or not. The evaluation is very simple. Basically, if you are right, you are smart. If you are wrong, you are not. You do this activity enough times and there will eventually be an average of how many times you were right and how many times you were wrong. This is a practical way to measure intelligence with everyday problems and situations because you will have concrete evidence of how many times you have been right as opposed to wrong. The more times you have been right, the smarter you are in proportion to the number of times you have been wrong.